Hey guys, welcome to the Emergence Podcast, a podcast that aims to empower fitness professionals through candid conversations about building sustainable minds, bodies, and businesses. I'm your host, Laura Gunder, ex-professional ballet dancer turned classical Pilates instructor based in New York City, sharing my insights from a decades-long journey navigating an industry with no set path to success. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hi. Thank you so much for coming. We have Alexa Javens. I had to practice before saying this.
You got it right. You
Yeah, I
nailed
got
it.
it right. But Alexa, I did a lot of research on you, but you are the founder of Session,
I'm one of the
one
owners
of
of
the
Session.
owners of
Yes, not
Session.
founder, but owner.
Owner.
Current owner.
Okay.
Yeah,
So who is the founder?
Patrick
Patrick?
Waters. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you guys kind of come to start Session? Because it's honestly one of my favorite workout classes in New York. I used to do it, I think, twice a week, but I moved away from Williamsburg, so I don't have, it's not as accessible. So
Yeah.
how did it kind of get
I
started?
love to hear that you love it. So let me just break down kind of like our backgrounds and then how we came together to form Session as well. So Patrick, the founder, he has a background in fitness as well, but with F45, he was a part of their
Oh,
founding
okay.
team. So he
Yeah.
sold franchises for a long time. So he was really like on the back end, the business side of things. My background, how I got my foot in the door was Orange Theory. So I really learned the ins and the outs of the business side as well through sales and then also just operations in general. And then I really started to tap into the fitness side of things too. Um, Fast forward years later, he wanted to start his own thing in New York, and that's how session training came
Mhm.
about. I was working for Orange Theory in New York for a few years, with them for a total of 5 years between Florida and New York, and helped them open several studios. I was kind of soul searching when COVID hit and wanted to really do my own thing. I ended up finding Session and was just like a temporary job for me, and then I realized how much I really loved it, and, so we just joined forces to see, like, how we can make it better, and that's why Session is who it is today and what it is today.
I
Yeah.
feel like COVID was such a kind of amazing time for a lot of people in the fitness industry because it like kind of stretched us to a point where we had to think very outside of the box
Yes.
because it really challenged us because we didn't have the option of like doing the norm, which would be like people come to class. Like you had to get very creative. And I think if you were like at a place in your career where you could kind of take advantage, you had a skill set of those opportunities. I think a lot of people really branched out, kind of like found these like new opportunities within COVID.
Totally. Yeah, and I think it just gave me so much time to think about what I really wanted to do and how
Mhm.
I wanted to pivot, with my career, and being with Orange Theory for so long, it was amazing because I learned so much about the business side of things too, and just, like, from a programming standpoint as well, it was like, "Okay, this is what we're doing," but there was no freedom behind the programming as well, so then as you get more knowledgeable and as you start to grow as a
Yeah.
coach, you want that freedom and you wanna start branching out and you wanna start learning more about different modalities, and I think that's what really made me say, "Okay, this is a scary move, but, like, I think I'm ready for something different and something new." So,
Yeah.
that time just I had more time to think, and then post-COVID, it was like, "Okay, how do we make this? How do we put this into action?"
And then what were a couple of what's your background specifically with fitness even before entering Orange Theory or just as an athlete?
Yeah, so I didn't have any, like, technical, like, certifications or anything like that before Orange Theory, but I played sports all growing up. So, um, throughout my youth, I was involved in basketball and then got really serious about volleyball, but I also
Mm.
cheered and danced competitively as well. So, always an athlete, always wanted to move, always
Yeah.
passionate about movement in so many different ways. So, I did work with a trainer, when I started at 17, so when I got serious about volleyball and I was about to be a senior in high school, I was like, "Okay, I wanna work with somebody who can get me to the next level." So I worked with a trainer, and I loved him so much, and he was like a mentor for me in that space, and I think that's when I really started to think like, "Okay, I think I wanna do something like this." Like, you're so young when you
Yeah.
have to decide how to choose your career. You're like, "I'm 18 years old and I have to, like, pick a major in college? Like, what? How do I do that?" But that was always in the back of my head.
Mhm.
And I think that's really how I started to find a passion for fitness and just helping other people through fitness.
I read on your website that one of the things you said you believe that everybody has a capacity to be, I think, an athlete.
Mhm.
And in your own personal did you do a lot of personal training too as well as, like, group fitness?
So when I first started, it was all group,
Okay.
and I really didn't start doing a lot of one-on-one training until COVID,
Okay.
because I think that was really how I started to explore different styles of training
Mhm.
in my own practice, in my own way, and I was like, "This is really cool," and people are liking what I'm doing and liking what I'm creating. So, yeah, I worked with all different people, from pregnant women to younger kids, to younger athletes, to peers and things like that too. So, yeah, I think right away I knew that this was something I needed to do on a different way, on a different level outside of just group. So now I have the opportunity of doing both now. So
Yeah.
one-on-one training and group.
I think I used to work at Equinox, like, teaching group fitness and also as a Pilates instructor, and kind of what you were saying was even though there was a time where I was like, "Okay, I know that this is not where I need to stay," but I think there's an importance as, like, a fitness instructor starting out to be, like, more in a framework of a company that already kind of has structure, and then you can learn what do you like and what do you not like about working in
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
industry, or with that company because there's pros and cons to, like, working with people who have been doing this for a very long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree with that because even though I chose to leave back then, it was the reason why I started out in that career in the first place, and it got my foot in the door, and I was really successful there for many years. So I'll never knock that experience at all.
Right.
It was all a part of the stepping stones that were necessary to get me to
Yeah.
where I am today.
Totally. I think it's important though too, like, a lot of people like to leave when it like, I think there's, like, a point I don't know if you're, like, in touch with your intuition, or you just have
Mhm.
that knowing that it's, like, it's time to go, because I feel like a lot of people maybe stay a little too long and they get resentful and they kind of burn a bridge with those people,
Totally. Yeah.
and I feel like the fitness community is so small, and it's important to also, yeah, like, respect where you came from, and even if, like, you're moving past that, to sort of have that knowing of, like, I wanna explore other things, but maybe it's time to go before I burn that bridge or, like,
Mhm.
get resentful at my clients or get resentful at this, company that's, like, has supported me for X amount of years.
Yes, knowing your limit and knowing when it's also time for you to move on from something is important. But honestly, I probably would have stayed for years if it weren't
Yeah,
for COVID. So that was a blessing in disguise with that whole period of time happening as well.
and then now, being an owner of Session, what is your kind of role within that? How many owners are there?
2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we tackle totally different aspects of the business.
Mhm.
Patrick is all behind the scenes, financials,
Yeah.
all the things that I don't wanna do.
That's the best kind of even business relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm all client facing, all operations. I still oversee all of our general managers and the whole
Okay.
fitness team and also the operations team too, which is our front desk team as well. So very much so involved in the day to day
Mhm.
where he isn't, but it's great because it works for us. It's like he has his strengths and I have mine, and we really use those to make the business so much better.
Yeah. And for kind of people thinking of opening up their own studios or own kind of boutique fitness studios, how would you recommend sort of choosing your business partner? Like, I
Mm.
feel like that's a big decision. That's like it's like a life partner. It's like that you're gonna really go through things with that person.
Totally. It's tough and honestly, he kind of chose me or I guess trusted in me because
Mhm.
I'm the one who pitched the idea to him when I first joined the team because I didn't join the team as an owner. It was I was just helping out on a temporary basis where I was just coaching a few classes a week and I really took a step back and I was like, I love this space and I love these people and I think that we can make this a lot better together. So I kind of pitched him the idea
Mhm.
and first starting out, I was just helping to manage the team and helping to hire and train all of the fitness staff coming in. So that's really how I got started with Session. And then later on, as it started to expand and grow, I pitched the idea of being like, okay, I'm treating this like it's my own. I think I deserve this opportunity in the
Yeah.
ownership side of things as well. So I don't know if I guess I picked Session because I believed in the business and the brand, and I also loved him too, and he was just such a genuine person that I knew that he'd be a good fit for what we had to offer in the future for our community now.
Yeah, it feels like that's just you had that, like, feeling of, like, I really wanna invest in that, and it's, like, that intuition of being like, "I can make this." I feel like that's so important to just
Yeah.
have that much personal investment in something will just take it so much further.
Yes.
And I feel like Session is such a staple in the Williamsburg community. Like, I know I have so many friends who go. We've gone to classes together. Like, everybody just like it's such a great community boutique fitness, which is I think is there's so many fitness studios in New York, but
Yeah,
I
of
feel
course.
like I've taken a lot. I've taken Orange Theory, I've taken Barry's Boot Camp, F45. They are community based, but I don't know. There's something about session that feels like very special and
Yeah.
very like I don't know, it just I don't know what it I can't put my finger on it, but there is something about it that just is, like, very different from the other boutique fitness studios
Yeah.
in Manhattan.
I agree, and obviously I'm biased
Yeah.
because I'm a part of it every day, but gosh, I feel like I would this is the exact space that I would wanna be a part of too, and the community that I would wanna be a part of if I was just like a member or a client, and I say this, and I say it kind of in a joking way, but, um, like I say, like, we're like the unicorn of the industry, and I
Mm,
really think it comes down to, 1, the people that come into our space for sure, but also the staff and the people who we hire. Like, you have to be passionate about people. You have to care about others. That's first
yeah,
and foremost. And then in turn, we have to also care about you. And we do. And Patrick and I are so big on investing in our staff. And when it comes to the coaching side of things, your coaches have to be knowledgeable for it to be a good fit.
totally.
And we invest in them, and we do that because well, 1, we believe in them and we want them to grow, but also because we know that we cannot evolve as a business and a brand if we don't put back into our people or don't give back to our people, and all of them have funds to use to continue their education every single year, and I think that's a big piece of why we've made it this far and that we keep growing is because our coaches know that we care, and they also care about their craft, and they also care about getting better. So I think that's what makes it different. It's like you come in, like you say hi to your neighbor. I think that kind of just breaks the
Yeah.
ice right away too. That's like a big thing that we do as well. It's like look left and right. Don't be weird. Say hi to your say hi
Yeah.
to your people next to you. Like you're working with them for a whole hour. Why would you not do that? And that warmth really starts from the minute you come into the room. So like who greets you at the front desk, and then how does the coach really interact with you throughout? And I think that's what makes people leave feeling comfortable and special, and also like, hey, I can do this, and I think I want to come back.
I love there's so many things you just said that I love, but as, somebody who does primarily I don't even teach any classes, more just private instruction, but the longevity, exactly what you said, is, like, if you're not investing in yourself in terms of, like, continuing your education, because I interviewed Oscar, who was another trainer at Session, and he was telling me that you invest in his education because we had a whole conversation about the importance of continuing education and keeping that kind of curiosity alive in your own practice because
Mhm.
it not only, I feel like, feeds your energy and excitement, then you in turn give that back to the client, and I think you can feel that in session because, yeah, like, the instructors are very energized and they're very knowledgeable, and like you said, that's the only way to evolve and to have longevity in a business,
Yeah.
because how do you keep that energy up if it's just kind of the mundane? And it's so easy to get kind of, like, stuck in just, like, you have your framework cookie cutter exercises and,
Mhm.
like, that's it, but it's so nice to hear that I think maybe that's what's so different because I don't know exactly how Orange Theory works. I've never worked there, but I don't know if do they invest in their, um, teachers as much?
No, I think that's another reason why it just makes it so different. The experience is just so different because it's like you have to get good at coaching that program and that format. And as long
Mhm.
as you do that, then it's like that's success there. Which is fine for beginner coaches, but like I said, I love how you use the word curiosity. It's like
Yeah,
if you want to grow and you want to develop as a coach, you have to be curious about like what else is out there for me.
totally. Yeah, and what other modalities because you guys do a lot there, you have what, you do kettlebells?
Yep.
Do you do,
Barbells
barbells
now.
now? Which is super cool, I love that because
Yep.
that's, especially for women, like actually, session is kind of how I got into lifting because I wasn't really doing that much lifting, and then I was just like, I just feel like I love Pilates, but I just feel them together have changed my body so much, but yeah, just, like, feeling safe as a female in, like, a fitness class and having that, like, athletic mindset because I don't know, I think there's something powerful in feeling empowered and, like, lifting heavy
Yeah, and getting
and getting
stronger.
strong,
I
and,
know.
like, I feel like it's changing now, But my background coming from ballet, there was so much weird stigmatization about, like, lifting, like, you're gonna get bulky and all this
Mhm.
stuff, and now I'm just like, I fucking love lifting weights. Like, I go to the gym and I put my playlist and I'm just like, "I'm a bad bitch. It's a bad day," but
Yes,
then I'm
why
just, like, lifting.
not? Why
Yeah.
not do that? I know,
And
I love that.
I just like yeah, and, like, in session, I feel like everybody all the women there are so strong, and it's like I don't know, it's, like, empowering and kind of like yeah, it's like you see all these hot women, like, lifting
Mhm.
heavy and, like, nice looking hot guys, and I'm just like, "Wow, it's a good vibe in here." Yeah.
I love it, and I also love to see the industry changing in that way too, where it was that mindset for so long. It's like,
Yeah.
"Well, if I lift this or if I lift this kinda weight, like, I'm gonna get bulky," and it's like, yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Like,
Yeah.
and also can we just take our brain off of that for a second, like the aesthetic piece, and just like talk about longevity for a moment too, and how
Mm.
important it is as a female to make sure that we're lifting heavy because
Yeah.
our bone density decreases every single year after 30. And like that is real. So we need to offset that. And that should be like our main focus. And then everything else from that could just come second. And like it's just a win.
I see that in my Pilates clients, a lot of them because they're, like, in their 50s and they never lifted heavy, and now they're, like, like, they had the consequences are that they're suffering from, like, things like osteoporosis.
Yeah.
So all my younger clients, I'm like, I think it's different, but I'm like, "You should be lifting at least twice a week." Like, yes, come to Pilates, but, like, trust me, like, you're gonna the longevity of your body is gonna thank you when you have, like, picked up muscle mass, and you're
Yeah.
not gonna have osteoporosis at
And that's probably
50.
why they love you too as an instructor and as a coach and as a teacher because you're like real with them. You're like, "Hey, I love that you come here and you support
Yeah,
this style of practice and this style of movement, but just so you know, I also believe in this." Like there's more than one way to do it. There's more than
exactly.
one way to train. I feel like Pilates and strength training is like such a dynamic duo in that regard.
It is, and it's amazing, and, like, supporting other businesses, supporting other teachers, different modalities, and I think it goes back to that curiosity thing, like, I love Pilates, but I also love moving in so many different ways, and
Mhm.
moving, like you said, for longevity, and to move for longevity, you have to, like, put yourself out of your comfort zone, whatever that would may mean,
Yeah.
and try something new, and, like,
Yes.
challenge your body and brain to think differently.
Exactly. I always say that too. I'm like, challenge your body and your brain. It's another reason why I love kettlebell training so much because
Yeah.
we can just be on autopilot sometimes when we're moving through things, which is also great and very freeing
It
as
has its
well.
place too,
Yeah,
yeah.
you kinda, like, go into, like, you go to, like, a different planet for a second, which is nice, but there's power in just being really present in that moment too,
Yeah,
where it's like, "Okay, I'm doing a single arm clean right now. I have to think about the way the bell is moving around my wrist and where it's gonna land and how I'm gonna get it off the ground," and all the complex skills that come with kettlebell training, it could be as simple or as complex as you want it to be, but you really have to stay present in what you're doing in order to do the skill well. And I think that there is like beauty in that too, which I love.
no, I think yeah, if you could drop it on your face, you have to be very prevent
Yeah.
present. I and some this day and age, we're, like, always on our phones and always connected and yeah, there is something so nice about being fully in your body and with your
I
breath,
I
and
love that.
it's really I think that's what everybody really needs right now, like,
Totally. And I was actually
it's
talking to
like
my therapist about this too last week. I just started with a new one and she's a somatic therapist, which is like
mm,
a very different practice and approach where it's like all about like being in your body and like where you're
yeah,
feeling things or like tapping your body and things like just ways that get channel like a certain energy or a memory in a different way. And it's so cool what your body can do if you actually just like sit still for a second and like no distractions are there. It's like we always say that we're like, everyone's always like so quick to say, "Oh, I have ADD," or like I have ADHD, like I just can't pay attention. It's like, I just don't think you want to pay attention. It's like if we just remove all those distractions, you probably can get to that point where it's like just complete silence, or you're tapping into a different memory, or you're just staying fully present in your body or with your breath to get to like a new level of healing in a
right.
way. So I think that's really cool to be like, I'm proud that I can actually get here still because we're just trained to look at our phone and everything is just like milliseconds. We're just like swipe, swipe, swipe. We are
And
like,
emails and ding, ding,
I
ding, it's like
know. We're
yeah,
processing so much stuff every single second. Like, I
yeah,
mean, every notification that pops up, it's like, oh, we just like switch thought process or thought
exactly.
process to thought process, like every time that notification hits. And so, of course, we're going to be constantly distracted. That's how we're like wired to think now.
And as a coach, as a business owner, you also, run marathons too, and like you have your own practice. How do you kind of center yourself? Because I know, like, as practitioners and also teachers, coaches, mentors, whatever you're doing, you really need to protect yourself and your energy.
Mhm.
And sort of, do you have like a specific rituals or systems you use to sort of keep your mind and body in check so you can best show up for your business and like all your
Yeah.
people?
I'm a Christian, so I love worship music. Like
Mhm.
that is like the moment for me to just like recenter. It could really turn my day around, like listening to that style
Yeah.
of music. But also too, like as much as I love session and I love being there, when I'm taking a class, I am still working.
Yeah.
So doing things outside of there is really, really important for me. So I'll go take a class somewhere else or like work out with another coach or like just move through my own session or go on a run. Um, that's like that's like me time. I think it's really important to do something for yourself every day that's just like alone, even if it's like 10 minutes or I'm like walking my dog or like something
Yeah.
along those lines. So I could just like either start the day that way or maybe I really need like that breakup in my day to just recenter and refocus. So I think it's like a mix of things, but something that you're doing like, for yourself and not for other people.
Kind of like you were saying, kind of like going into your body as a coach, because I feel like because we give so much energy, it's kind of some days feels like an out of body experience. Like some days I'll teach like 10 hours straight, like if I'm really pushing it. And yeah, if I don't take like a walk around the block or just have that time to recenter myself, I feel like then you go on autopilot and then your client doesn't get the best of you. So
Yes.
it's like finding that balance of, yeah, giving yourself that time for
You'll like
yourself.
walk home from work and you're like, I don't even know what I just said in that last
Yeah, like, I'm
session.
just like, you put your foot on the floor, and then I'm like, "Why did you say that?" or something, and I just stare at the
Like your
wall.
elbow becomes
Yeah,
your knee becomes your
exactly.
elbow, like you don't even know body parts anymore. It's like
Exactly,
this is not doing anyone good.
exactly. Um, and you're also part of the Nike Well Collective. So how
Yes.
did you guys kind of get affiliated with Nike? Because that's, I feel like, the dream for studios or just a lot of people in general.
Yeah, I was really honored. Actually, they came in, took my class. So
Mm,
they took my class and then met with me after and just pitched the opportunity of what that would look like. And it's evolved a lot and it's changed a lot in the last
yeah,
2 years because I've been with them now for I think it's been like 2.5 years already. And it's definitely like the Well Collective is changing as a whole. Like
mhm,
they're kind of going back into Nike training a little bit more, where the Well Collective was like hitting all different modalities and breath work and yoga and dance and all these different things. And it is changing a lot. And I think they're moving a little bit more towards the training side of things again. But it was basically like a recruitment process where I think they were just taking a lot of people's classes and seeing what studios were well liked and they were
yeah,
getting it's like word of mouth too. Um, and my Nike rep at the time, she used to work out at Session and she did a few events with both Darren and me. Darren's one of the coaches as well. She worked with us at like a champs event a few years ago that was like all about coaching younger high school kids. And so we did that and she really enjoyed working with us. So I think we were like top on her list when she got the job at Nike and in that specific program to recruit us, which was really cool.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what do you so working with Nike Collective, what does it kind of entail? Like, what does that look like?
They're really big on supporting what we are passionate about and what
Mhm,
we're doing. So it's really like how they can support us as coaches and also us as the session and
yeah,
as a whole. Um, we're like ambassadors for the brand. So of course we get like all the perks of like all the gear and things that
yeah,
we get. We get a certain amount of funds per year that we get to use, but we also are fully supported by the events that we want to run as well. So say I wanted to run a kettlebell class and I wanted Nike to come in and fully support it. That would look like, you getting a full outfit and them just like supporting any way they can or sending photographers and things that just like really support what we want to do and the people that come to those events as well. So it's not like, we're doing this, this, and this is required of us. It's kind of like all over the place, but I think as a whole, what I feel like leaving or stepping out of that role and being like, okay, what do they actually do for us? It's really like supporting what we're passionate about and like what we're doing currently in the fitness space. And
kinda
then of
seems like
course,
a great thing though, because it gives you that freedom to do you, and then they
yes.
just kind of it aligns or not, and it
Yes.
works.
And of course there's some asks as well. Like we'll have like social requirements, like
Yeah,
social post requirements and things, but it's all stuff that we like really feel genuinely interested in, like whether it's talking about like a new bra that has dropped. I mean, like that's a big thing. That's actually something I'm really passionate about. Like a supportive bra is like really important for females, honestly. Or like a new shoe that comes out. It's like all things that we like love wearing already. So why not educate people about it? So like things like that that are required of us. Or They use the Well Collective or us trainers as like now like the models in the industry too. So we have opportunities to get global campaign opportunities or like modeling things or like just hosting events for like a new MetCon coming out. So it's kind of like wherever we're needed, but also like where do we need them too?
That's so cool. Like, what a amazing opportunity. It's so interesting, the fitness space and, like, all the connections you can make and just all these kind of new opportunities that I feel like are floating through all the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
and people just constantly reaching out. But I think that goes back to kind of that idea of, like, make sure that how you move through the space is, like, how you show up in, like, a kind and, like, I feel like just being nice to people and
Mhm.
being willing to help other people really gets you very far.
Totally. Like just being yourself.
Be open
Like
and nice. Yeah.
always show up the same way as
Yeah.
much as you can consistently because you never really know who's watching or like who's in your class or who's taking your class, you know?
Yeah.
So it's cool.
'Cause I think a lot of sometimes I've seen teachers, I've taken certain classes, and I've definitely myself been like this. If I'm super burnt out, I just feel like, yeah, maybe not so much of an attitude, but there is definitely an energy shift, and I feel like that can be picked up on.
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
it's important as a younger teacher, especially when you're starting your career, to like exactly like you said, like try to show up in the best light you can and try to I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard. You can't be the most amazing thing every time, but
Totally.
you know, try to remember that like people are coming to that class and like that's their 45, 50 minutes to themselves, and it kind of matters.
Yes, you get it. You get it. And we talk about that a lot at session too when we're training our team. It's like this is their 50 minutes like to themselves. It
Yeah.
might be like they're only 50 minutes for the entire week. Like we don't know their schedule. And so everything that's going on with us, which is so hard to do sometimes. Like
So,
I
I mean, life
can't
is hard. Shit
yes.
happens. Yeah.
Yes. And so and we're humans. Like we go through a lot of shit too.
Yeah.
So but, you know, they are our clients and we're showing up to our workplace, they're showing up to their, like, safe space, you know, of,
Right.
like, their workout, and so we have to really leave everything at the door and just check it at the door and come in and I actually think whenever I'm having a bad day, I love going to coach a session class because
Yeah.
you just take the focus off of you for an hour or 3 hours, however many classes you're coaching, and just put it into them. It's, like, the most like, refreshing thing I think I could possibly do if I'm having a bad day. So, of course, when you're going through it, you're like, "Oh gosh, the last thing I wanna do is go coach classes." But once you're there and you're on, you're like, "This is actually so healing for me to just be here for them
Yeah.
and not worry about my issues for 3 hours." It's actually really nice.
I totally agree. It's like decentering yourself and like making people feel good. You actually leave feeling much
Ye
better.
Totally. You, like, forget about it for
Yeah.
3 hours. You're like, "This is actually really nice," because, again, people are coming in to just decompress and just find a space that's gonna make them better in the 15 minutes, and I think we do a really good job of that and being really just professional throughout the
You guys
time
are
that we're
very
there.
professional. And like, I feel like all the coaches make an effort to help as many people as possible and make them feel seen. And
Yeah.
that's something I really like they really make an effort to remember people's names, people's injuries, like, they make sure that everybody they come up to everybody and say hello, and I think that's another reason why session is so special is because sometimes fitness studios in New York can be kind of clicky and cold and, like,
Mhm.
just kind of like this cool, "I'm so cool" vibe where it's, like, almost off-putting because 'cause you're like, "I don't know, like, do I stand here? Like,
I
is
know.
this bike free?" And, like, you're not really sure.
I've experienced that too. It's like I'm in
Y
the industry and I go somewhere else and I'm, like, nervous. I'm like, "Where do I go?" And, like, I don't wanna be the
Yeah,
person that doesn't know what they're doing.
exactly.
And so it's like you have to be met with warmth when you come into the doors, and, like, if you don't come into those 2 doors and feel that, then, like, we're missing the boat.
And also then it gives people the opportunity to feel okay looking silly, but that's the only way they're gonna get better, right? Especially because
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about programming though, because your classes are programmed, they're not easy things that you're
No.
programming. They're really functional, amazing, but it's like it's not easy no matter how fit you are.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
you're gonna have to look a little silly sometimes to get stronger. And I think because you foster that environment, people feel comfortable, maybe looking a little silly, picking up
Mhm.
a weight or doing some more complex movements.
Yes, I agree. One thing I say a lot in my classes too, like I'll look at the screen when I'm demonstrating, I'm like, "This is simple, not easy." Like there's a difference between
Yeah.
the 2. Like it could be like the most simplest movements that you've seen all week, but that doesn't mean you can't push yourself to a certain level or a certain limit. And then on the other end of that, the opposite end of the spectrum is like, even if it's your first time in this room,
Mm.
you can scale it back. We always call them options. Like there is an option for you. There's a
Yeah.
path that you can take to leave here and feel successful, even if it's not the movement that I originally demonstrated. Like there is a movement for you that will work.
And I think that's the most important thing is like giving people. I did it. I used to say that in my classes too. I'm like, we're every exercise builds, right? So I'm gonna give you some options so you feel with a sense of success and
Mhm.
not defeat. Because nobody
Yeah.
wants to leave a class feeling defeated. They want to
No.
go in there and feel better when they leave. So whatever that means to them, even if they picked up a little heavier weight or if they progress from one progression to the next, like that's really what makes me happy, honestly, and any of my clients. It's like
Yeah.
seeing that and that success, and, like, I feel like that's what makes me happy at least. I'm like, "Yeah, you
Yeah.
did that. Couldn't do that, like, 2 weeks ago."
It's the best. It's such a good feeling too. And having the awareness in your class too, and also having a coach's eye to be like, when do I need to step in
Yeah,
to modify or regress this exercise specifically? Because you can tell when someone comes in and they're new or they're frustrated with themselves. They're never really frustrated with you, they're frustrated with
totally.
themselves. And so you have to know when to step in and give them something else to do. And I think that's another reason why like coaches at session are so great because they can see that and they
Yeah,
really have an eye on their entire room, whether it's 18 to 24 people in there all at once. It's like they really know their room, they really know their class, they know your
yeah.
story and they know what you can handle. And I think that's really special.
And that's just I feel like a skill set of that is a good coach. A good coach is knowing when to push and pull, like push
Mhm.
or pull back. And I think that comes with time, but I think it also comes with a self-awareness of yourself and having that kind of like understanding of your own limits and knowing when to push and pull yourself. Because I
Yes.
think as coaches, like that's a thing that I've kind of learned as I've gotten older. It's like intensity isn't always the answer. Like, I think consistency and just showing up sometimes is enough, and when I have, like, more compassion for my own practices and I'm like, "I don't have to go, go, go," and, like, heavy all the time, but, like, maybe
Mhm.
today I'm just tired, but I'm here and I wanna move, so, like, let's scale back the weight, or let's do something a little more simple, but I can still leave with that sense of achievement,
Yeah.
and then when you understand that, I feel like I can understand that my clients, because yeah, life is hard and I see them come in and they're dealing with certain things, but, like, how can I make them feel successful so they feel better and then they come back because they trust you? It's like that trust.
Mhm.
So I really
Totally.
love that.
It took me a long time to realize what my limit was. Like when I first started out in the industry, you're like you're on the 2 a day kick and you're like, this is good for me. And then you soon realize it's like that my body actually doesn't like that, nor like should it be doing that every day, And like
Yeah.
with Orange Theory, the programming it's very cardio intensive. So it's treadmill work for 30 minutes, but then on the floor, sometimes you're like mixing in the rower and you don't have a lot of time to strength train. So I did that for 5 years, where it's
It's all
like
very
this is like
intense.
it was like one gear it felt like for so long. And then my body just like didn't like it anymore and it was changing in many ways. And I was like, why? I'm like working so hard. I don't get it. It's like the overtraining aspect of this industry is very, very real. And you have to just keep asking yourself what is best for me and like the frequency at which I should be training and the style of which I should train. All that stuff matters and it just takes time. So I see that with newer coaches a lot as well. And I like see it. It's like you got to go through it on your own. Like I'm not even gonna step in and say, hey, you're like doing too much.
Pump the brakes.
You'll figure it out. You will
You'll
figure
figure
it
it
out.
out one way or the other. I mean, I figured it
Yeah.
out by like my body literally got sick and I started losing my hair and had like all this hormonal acne. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm in fitness and my job is to make people feel better. And my body has never felt worse in its entire life.
Girl, I hear
And
you. I
yeah,
was always sick. When I first moved to New York, I was always sick, and it's like it wasn't just because I was around people in group fitness classes all the time, because that's always been my life, like, since I
yeah.
mean, it was my life for 3 years before I moved to New York. So it wasn't that piece. It was like the overtraining aspect, not to mention like New York already has its own forced movement piece. Like you're walking times 10. Like I'm coming from Florida to being in a car every single day and then I'm walking to work and then I'm coaching classes and then on top
You're
of that
waking up
I'm
probably at like 5 AM, like,
yes, like
you're on the brink. Yeah.
limited sleep, like you're increasing your steps by 100,000 a week and then on top of that it's like you're taking 2 classes a day. Like what? Of course.
Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen?
It's so hard to find that balance though because, like, it takes like, I talked about this with other coaches like Roxy and, like, but it's, like, a weird balance of, like, understanding that that hustle is kind of part of it for a while.
It is.
And how did you kinda, like, transfer out of that? Because you have to be very strategic and smart about your career because, yeah, you can do that for, like, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, maybe in your early 20s, but that is not a sustainable way to
No,
be in this
no,
industry.
no. And I was working so much too when I first moved to
Yeah.
New York because I went from what Orange Theory was like called like head coach. It was basically like you were the manager of that studio on the fitness side, and that was in Florida. And then when they moved me to New York to open studios here, it was like I was like regional sales ops fitness. So it was
Jesus.
like a mix of everything. And then I was coaching like 22 classes a week. So it was a lot. It was a
Did you
lot, a
even have
lot,
a
a lot.
life?
The first year, no, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely moving home. I was like, this is
Yeah.
it. This is not for me.
Yeah.
But wasn't for me, it was just like the workload aspect and not having any form of balance. But I will say, and people might agree with this or not, but like I will say in the beginning, I do recommend that you say yes to a lot of things because that is the only way you're going to know what you want to do and what you want to explore further. And then you start to dial back and say like, okay, I really love this and I really don't like that, and so I want to
Mhm.
do more of this and less of this. And then before you know it, somewhat find like your perfect schedule.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time to realize what that is, but I think say yes, yes, yes to all the opportunities that come in front of you as long as you're like somewhat passionate about them and you think that you can potentially do those things. And then eventually it's going to kind of like wean itself, or they'll wean themselves out of your routine and your schedule, because it's like either you'll just fall out of love with those things, or you're like, I can't possibly do this at this level for this long. And then you just start to get a little bit pickier with what you choose to spend your time on.
Well, I think that's amazing advice. I did a lot of that. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's like you kinda have to go through it. There is kind of no way to, like, do it right.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I mean, it's like kind of like life, like, we can give you, like, advice, but there is a sense of, like, you gotta just kind of go through it, and whatever that means to you, and just have, like, the faith,
Mhm.
honestly, and the understanding that, like, it's gonna work out for you if you're like, trust yourself, I think, which is
Yeah.
hard, I think, as a younger instructor because 'cause you're just, like, running around like a chicken without your head and,
Yeah.
like, trying to survive, and you're just like, "Will this ever end? But I love this. Do I? I don't know."
Yeah, I know. And even if that ends up like you deciding that this industry is not for you, I mean, that's okay
Yeah.
too. Like, we don't know what that's going to look like. We just have to keep exploring, keep asking questions and seeing what works best for us. And I mean, I always said I would never live in New York City. I was like, I would love to visit there, but I would never live there. Like, we would come every year. I mean, my family and I would come and visit almost every summer. And I loved it, but I was like, this is too crazy. I could never. And then I got the opportunity with Orange Theory to move here. And I was like, oh my God, I always said I would never
Yeah.
do this. And and thank God I did, because like, where would I be if I didn't take that leap and move here? So it's pretty cool when you think about it.
No, that's amazing, and not only are you, like, living in New York, I feel like you're thriving, and to thrive in New York City is, like, really difficult.
I'm very grateful because I know, and it is, and
It's really difficult.
it was hard in the beginning for sure. And I feel like, you just put the time in, you put your head down, you do really good work, and then before you know it, you're like, okay, I can actually do this. This is sustainable.
Yeah, and then, like what you said that, like, yeah, show up doing your best every single day, even if that's not 100% every day, but showing up with, like, a good attitude and a positive attitude, especially when we're working with so many people, no matter
Hmm.
who you're working with, is really, really important, and I've learned that through my career through building good relationships with not only my clients, but my also, like, colleagues. It's helped me immensely because we can really lean on each other and help each other and support each other, and I feel like that's what kinda helps you
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. I love that you have that too, because I think it's so important to show up to a workplace that is positive and where you have this sense of like friendship
Yeah,
and community there too. Like, we just all want the best for each other. And if
yeah.
someone is stronger in this modality or knows more about this, they are like an open book to a newbie coming in who just like doesn't know but wants to know more. And you have to have the positive work environment and culture. I think it really starts from within first before your business can have success.
And I will say because being led by females, like my mentor, Katie Ip on she owns Paradigm Studio, but she really fosters it kind of like what you're doing, which is that She, reinvests in us educationally and leaves space for us to be curious and ask questions and to feel kind of always questioning her, which I think
Mhm.
is, I don't know if that's something that you also like, not questioning her, are you wrong, but like, why do you do this? Or why this exercise? Why not this exercise? And it gives that dynamic of, there is a sense of respect for her, obviously, but there is that approachability to her where we can ask questions and it
Yes.
helps us be better instructors because we're not afraid to ask a question of, we don't know this. And she'll like, sometimes she's like, I don't know this, but like,
Yeah.
we'll work it out together. You know what I
And
mean?
I think that's so important. Like, we don't all know the answers to everything. Like, and it's
Yeah.
okay to just say, "You know what?
I
I have to
don't
do
know.
more research. I
Yeah.
don't know." And so Nico, I don't know if you've ever met Nico. He's one of the coaches at Session 2. We work together on programming. So we're the ones who actually create all of the programming
That's
that you
amazing.
see
Yeah.
at Session, but we have a weekly programming call with our team, and it's for that reason. It's like, question this, ask why. Like, you have to understand the why behind why you're coaching this product, or else it's just not going to come out that strong
Yeah.
or that strongly. And I think it's really, really important to put yourself in that position and say, hey, question what I'm doing. Ask me why. Ask me if that is actually the best movement to do in tandem or paired up with a different exercise. Like, it's
Yeah.
totally fine. I like to be questioned. I like to also be like evaluated too. It's like, come take my class and like let me know or like tell me about your experience with me as a coach. And I want to hear what you have to say, because as a leader, it's so rare that we get evaluated or like we hit those specific touch points or that people feel comfortable approaching us
Totally.
at when you've been in like that leadership position for so long, people are intimidated by that, and they don't want to give you feedback. And I'm like, please, I never hear it. Can you tell me what can you tell me what I could do better?
I think that's just like the hallmark of an amazing leader. Like, clearly you are. Look at the community you've built and like the relationships you've created within the industry. And I think that is what makes a good leader, somebody who is open to criticism and open to being questioned. And
Yeah.
that not only is gonna help you in the long run, right? It's that curiosity again. And it's like,
Yeah.
sure, like, I don't know. Make me
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, totally. And thank you for saying that. I so appreciate it. And listen, it's never comfortable to like hear what you're doing wrong or like people
No.
critiquing you in a
Yeah.
certain way, but if it's coming from a good place. You know that it's meant to be helpful and not hurtful in that setting. You can only
Totally.
hope.
And I think as a business owner, people who own businesses, it's really important to not have a hard skin, but be able to decenter yourself and be like, what's best for the business? And that means that I need to be able to take that critique because
Mhm.
that's going to service my clients better and make me better. And I
Yes.
think that also comes with time and confidence as an instructor. But that's something I think I'm learning is super important to take feedback. I mean, let's not call it criticism. We can just call it feedback, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
feedback.
feedback. It doesn't
It's a
have to be so
feedback loop.
negative. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's so amazing. And when you guys program, so it's just you and Nigo, and you guys
Yeah.
program how many weeks out?
Usually 3 to 4
3 to
weeks.
4?
Yeah.
And there's like a structure to the session classes. Like, there's similar movements, but it does change up a lot. But
Mhm.
there is something, because I feel like good fitness classes, you kind of know what to expect. That's why people come back. But you
Yeah.
guys do program different exercises. And I noticed in some classes there'd be like this kind of fun, crazy new one. So like, do you guys just kind of go rogue and you're like, well, let's just throw like this kind of fun one in and see how it goes?
It has to make sense for sure, but like I think the bread and butter of our programming is like all your base movement patterns. With group fitness, I'm sure as you know, it's hard to cater to like the split approach of programming where you would maybe see that if like you were doing one-on-one training or
Hmm.
sessions with someone. Every day is full body, and we are hitting like an upper body pull or lower body push, and you're
Yeah.
going to see a squat, a hinge, upper body push and pull exercise always with some like core accessory work or maybe some isolation exercises in there. That's really like the bread and butter of the structure of it.
Yeah.
But depending on what day you're coming, whether it's the format is strength and conditioning or just strength or metcon or hybrid, now we have so many different styles when you come into class. It definitely, we start with like the base movement patterns, and then depending on the format of the day, we can get more creative with certain programming. So for example, like Metcon is always a little bit more fun, and we spice it up a little bit because it's not just your typical strength day, it's more
Right.
cardio conditioning focused, so we can get more creative with the movements that we throw into the mix. And then your strength days, yes, although they are just strength, strength is also power focus as well. So we always have a power element in there. So that's
Yeah.
where we can get creative with doing some form of jump variation or something more explosive, or like a kettlebell skill that is more dynamic and powerful. So we have our little moments where we can slip things in and get more creative and more
Yeah.
fun with it. But for the most part, when you are going to see progress and you're going to progress in like the strength from a strength aspect, you do have to do the same things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so you will always see like a lot of the same movement patterns in class and the same skills and the same lifts, because that's the only way you're going to realize if you actually are getting stronger with something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I think our clients sometimes, yeah, they're like, why are we doing the same things? I think being a good teacher is like understanding. I think it goes back, yeah, why? And if you know why you're doing these things, you can relate them to your clients. And I think that builds trust too, because
Yeah.
you're an expert in what you're doing and you're like, trust the process. Like you will
Mhm.
see results, but you have to be okay. But yeah, you have to sprinkle in things that make them feel like they're doing. But there is like, you have to go back to the basic patterns because it's only the way you're going to know if they're getting stronger too. Because you're
Yeah.
changing it up every week. You don't know, did they get stronger from 3 weeks ago if you're
Yeah.
doing something else? Like
I
there
know you
has to
can't
be a
just switch it up
reasoning.
every single day. It's like, how do we ever know if we're getting
There's no
better? We
benchmark to
don't.
go back to and be
Yes.
like, okay, let's check in our
Yeah.
work. Like
Mhm.
you couldn't do this. Let's see if you can do it.
And I
Um,
think that's a big piece of being a coach too. You have a responsibility to educate. You have to let people know the why, or they just don't know. I
yeah.
mean, we send out a survey every 6 months or so, and there's always a few people that are like, "I wish we did more. I wish we burned more calories. I wish like there was more exercises throughout the class." And it's like more is not always better.
Yeah.
There's moments now where Nico and I just programmed 2 exercises for a 12-minute block. Like that is not a lot of time. 12 minutes is not a long block. You should be able to lift heavy and work for like 1 to 2 minutes at least in order to keep the quality in your reps there. And so I think sometimes people will leave class or say like, I feel like I just didn't do enough. And it's like, but why do you think that? Because it's not based off of how much you were lifting. It's based off of like how many different movements you saw in the class. And so again, if they don't know
Yeah.
the why behind what we're doing, or the reason why we only have 2 exercises per block, then like that's on us to tell them more about it or talk more about it so they understand. They understand it.
And you guys do have that open dialogue. I feel like the website is very friendly or like ask any questions, even the desk
Mhm.
people. And like a lot of people talk to the teachers after class. And I feel like it goes to building that trust with the clients and people. And then your instructors know the why. So then people are like, okay. Cause they don't know. They don't know.
Yeah, they
They just
don't
wanna
know.
they're just been like trained in the fitness industry to be like, well, if I'm not like dying and like limping out of this class, I
Yeah.
didn't do anything. But you're like, that's not really necessarily the benchmark
Yeah.
of, like, getting stronger, like, you don't have to be disabled, like, you can
Yes.
you can walk
I
home
know. I know.
and it will be okay.
It's just a handful of people too. Like for the most
Yeah,
part, especially in New York City, I feel like we're way ahead of the game. People are more educated and they do understand it. And I think
yeah,
that's why session is successful, because people are like getting on that trend of like this. It doesn't have to be like a killer workout every single time in order to see results. Like you can actually leave here feeling like really great and very energized. And you know that you've done enough, even if your Apple Watch isn't telling you that you burned 1,500 calories in the class. But like you said, we're trained to think that for so long. Then
yeah.
of course it's an unlearning that needs to happen, and we have the responsibility as coaches to make sure that people are getting that.
I think that is where kind of the fitness industry is shifting though, especially, like, with the intensity of work culture in New York, but people are kind of realizing you can't continuously be intensity isn't the way for longevity in
Yes.
anything. So I think I do see a lot of younger people kind of moving towards the idea that, like, again, like you have to figure it out yourself, but there's more benefit into being more mindful, being in your body, training with intention and like really feeling movements and doing maybe less, but there's more benefit when you're truly like in it.
Yes, I agree.
And I mean, yeah, you kind of only come to that after a while, but I think I am kind of excited because I do see that kind of shift in mindset kind of coming. I think probably, I don't know, I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're just on a very interesting point just in general in life, but I do see like that shift in sort of work culture and also work like fitness culture.
Yeah, and when I first started, it was not common that this was a career. Like the fitness industry
Yeah.
was a realistic career path for anyone. It was always like a side job, a side hustle. You
Mhm.
rarely made it in this field. And so that was definitely scary when I first started. It was like 10 years ago that I started, and I was so young, and your family wants the best for you and they tell you, it's like, "Hey, you have a degree. Like, are you sure you wanna do this?" Like, or, "Okay, so this is just gonna be what you start out doing, and then what?" And my response was always, "No, I think I wanna keep doing it." Like, I think I
Yeah.
wanna keep on exploring what this has for me or what this industry has for me. Um, and thank God I did, because sometimes as much as you love and respect certain people, especially family in your life, sometimes you do have to go against the grain and say, I think I have a gut feeling that I'm supposed to stay on this course,
Yeah.
on this path. And yeah, I've just learned so much, and thank God I did. I just kept on going, because even when it got hard, it's like, look where I am today, and I'm really, really proud of that.
And, like, I'm happy too because then the session wouldn't even be like what it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. Yeah, like I said, you're thriving in fitness, and to thrive within this industry is extremely difficult, like, to sustain not only that 3 studios, you guys have
Yeah,
3
yeah,
3
three.
studios
Mhm.
in New York City, which was probably one of the most competitive markets within just fitness, I'm sure, like,
Yes,
just in general,
yes. Mhm.
the competition is crazy, but it's yeah, it's so, like, it's inspiring to see. That's why I really wanted to talk to you because I really, like I said, I love session, and I actually went to session during, like, a really hard period of my life, and just that community aspect really made me feel, like, safe to move and kind of actually, yeah, like, help me kind of come back into my body and,
That
like,
makes me
recenter set
so
myself.
happy to hear that.
Yeah, like
And thanks for sharing that too.
yeah, like, it was just a very difficult I was kind of feeling lost actually, like, within the fitness industry, just like, "What am I doing?" Like but, yeah, it was, like, kind of my process of, like, going through it and moving through it, and I feel like slightly on the other side of it now, but, like, really grateful for that community and space, making me just feel, like, safe and having something yeah, that, like, positive energy of the coaches to rely on, like, every
Mhm.
Tuesday, I would take Emilio's class, and then on Saturday, I would take Oscar's class, and I was just like, "Okay, like, it's been a hard week, but, like,
2
I
great
know"
people, 2
yeah,
great guys, 2 great coaches,
always
yeah,
great music. I
yeah.
really went because I love their music, and I was just like, "It's fine, this week is gonna get better," but yeah, like, it really was just such a great experience and really helped me through a hard time, so
Good, I'm so happy to
thank
hear
you,
that, and
yeah.
sometimes I do have to take a step outside of what I do every single day, because you get it. I mean, you're just like, "I just wanna do a good job, I just wanna do a good job, like,
Yeah.
what's next for me? How can I be better?" But you do have to take yourself out of it for a few and just say, wow, like, look at what we've done together as a team, and look at
Yeah.
who we are in this industry, and look at who we are in New York City and the reputation that we have. Like, we should all really feel proud of this, because
Yeah.
this is not common. And I'm sure that
Mm.
you've gone to many fitness studios before and didn't leave having that same feeling.
No, sometimes
Um,
I'm just like, "Why did I just spend $55?"
yes, it's
And,
like
like,
you're like defeated. You're
I
like,
wanna
this
go
like does
home,
not
like,
make
not come
sense.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, like,
I know, and
but
we, like, strive to, like, never have someone feeling that way when they leave, so I think we are doing, like, a really good job of just creating that community, and I know community is such a buzzword, but we really I feel like we really do the damn thing.
no, it really is a community, and thank you so much for sitting down with me. This was, like, such an amazing conversation. I
Thank
do wanna ask
you.
one more question.
Yeah.
Kind of to where you are now, do you have any advice kind of for your younger self, like, looking back? Because this is kind of for, like, uh, people interested in the fitness industry who are in the fitness industry, just any, like, advice to, like, somebody who's kind of just, like, starting out their career and, like, have that passion that you had or just, like, have that drive, but, like, feel maybe a little, like, lost.
Yeah, and I have to say too, like, this is something I'm really passionate about doing. I really want to be able to mentor other people who had the same experience as me starting out, where people are doubting you, they're doubting your choices, but my piece of advice is just, like, keep investing in yourself, whatever that looks like. If that's
Mhm.
education, if that's talking to people, if that's reading a book that you can afford, that you when you start out, you don't make any
Yeah, you're
you aren't
broke.
making a lot of money. So, like, you know, borrow books and find resources, find mentors that can really help you and guide you, someone that you look up to in the space that you wanna pursue, and put your head down and keep doing it, and know that it is not going to be cute all the time. Like, being a business owner is not cute. People, like,
I mean,
really
you look cute
glorify
now, but like, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
they glorify it, but it's not always what people think it is, and it's okay to just put your head down, focus on your work, even when you have seasons of, like, just really hard seasons where you, like, don't think you can do it. Keep on putting yourself out there and meeting new people and training more people and saying yes to more opportunities in the space and the field that you want to work in. And before you know it, if you're doing good work, you're producing good work, and you're a good person, you care about people, it's going to work out for you.
Thank you so much. I love that. I think that's probably the best advice. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for coming on.
Thank
Thank
you. This
you.
is great.